Okay. Someone's just joined. Martin. I'll just say hello to Martin and then we'll get going.
Hi, Luke.
Hi, Martin. All right.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Good.
I've just put us all on mute, so I'm gonna mute everybody and we'll get going. Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Good. Yeah. Great. And Tim, if you keep dropping out, I'll send you the I'll send you a recording. Okay. Five minutes just loosening up, rolling the shoulders. Stretching the back of the leg. Keep the back straight. Don't curve the back. Keep the back straight. Fold the hips. Pull up the toe just to start to get the warmth of the muscle underneath here activated. Just on both sides. With this one, make sure the knee drops. I'm going to soften into the inguinal region to let the weight of the leg drop. Pull up the toes and you get the stretch across the front of the thigh. If you need stability, if you need balance stability, you can touch the wall. But don't do it with your leg in this position because you won't get the stretch. You have to drop the thigh vertically and then you start to get the take up on the muscle. And as you pull up the toes then, you engage the muscle even more. That's the stretch we want from there. Just loosening up, turn the hips. No special principles, just to loosen up the body. Feet parallel, shoulder width. Relax the legs. Feel the knees connect into the feet. Open up the chest. Lift the crown of the head, drop the chin. Activate the body, lifting. Soften the body, melt the legs. Feel the feet ground. Feel the center connect. Feel the hips connect into the knees. Soften the chest, soften the shoulders. Let gravity place you back down. Like that stack of tiles. So three things happening here. One is that we activate. Then we release. And the result of the releasing is that we start to feel this condition arise of being stable, of being buoyant, upright, and allowing ourselves to be pressed onto the ground. These three things are really important. I was working with these in the beginner's class as well. But of course, at this level, you'll have much more connection to what you have to do to make these things happen in yourself. And what we want to feel that melting over the whole body that allows gravity in, allows ourselves to be pushed down, but not because we move to go into a lower position, because we change on the inside and allow gravity that's already, the weight of the body already wants to fall. We put it into an upright position and we let it fall. We take away what's holding us up and the body falls. You won't see much movement from the upright position, pushing body up, to the released position. You won't see a lot of change, but you will feel a big change inside the body. We're trying to feel the changes we have to make to let the body go, and the resulting stability and connection. That's just a tap on the window to tell Satya to be a little bit quiet, because we've got an important class going on here. Mainly, I don't want to know what she's doing, and I don't want you to know what she's doing in the other room. So from this upright position, folding the knees, folding the hips, keep the back upright. Doesn't mean keep it vertical, let it stay straight. As you lift, lift the chest. As you lift the arms, lift the crown of the head. Put yourself into this pulled up condition. Principle 1, upright. Principle 2, softening. Throughout the whole body, draw your mind inwards onto the sensations in the body. Soften the legs, soften the hips, soften the abdomen, soften the chest and shoulders, until everything finishes as the thumbs touch the thigh. Second principle, softening. Releasing, grounding. This overlaps with the third principle, which is feeling grounded and settled and stable. Upright, released and stable. We put our body into an upright condition. Two, we release. Straight down. Feel the condition of allowing ourselves to be pressed onto the ground. Keep that going. When you lift, don't just think of the hands coming up. Don't just lift the arms up, but really activate the chest. Make sure this distance elongates. When you lift the arms up, don't just push the fingers up. Make sure you bring the back of the neck up. That rotates the head and pushes the crown of the head up. This puts you in the best possible, opened up and stretched, like an elastic band. You're lifting yourself into that position so that when you release, you can go straight back into the same alignment. The releasing, you don't actually have to put yourself into alignment when you release. You're already in alignment. You just have to let go. And your body will change and melt into a stacked up condition. First loosening exercise. From here, release. Organize the sinking body onto itself and into the ground, so that by the time the movement finishes, the body stayed upright. Gravity has allowed me to press myself into myself, and I find that condition of buoyantly resting on the body. Now, it's different from just doing it in a static posture, because at the same time, I'm turning the waist to the corner and I'm shifting my weight across. But what's happening on the inside is exactly the same. Even though I'm sinking into one leg, exactly the same. Change the base. Put myself into the upright position. Change the base. Change the abdomen. Change the shoulders. Connect. Connecting the whole time until when I'm facing the corner, when the movement finishes, I feel stable and pressed onto the ground. There's never a moment when I'm just turning and just moving externally. There's never a moment where I'm just drifting across or just working on getting into the right posture. At the same time as getting into the right posture, I'm also working on the release. So these two things overlap, the external movement of the body from here to here, weight in both feet, weight in one foot, turn to the corner. The external body moves through space, external through space around me. And on the inside, I've changed in exactly the same way as I change when I do this exercise. I've changed the muscles. I've allowed gravity to press me into a certain condition. And I want us to start to recognize that condition more and more and more and more, so that when we do the form, we can feel that condition in the center of each move. Every time I drop into a posture, I'm not just moving externally into a frame that's accurate, but I'm moving into that frame, and at the same time, with the right condition, I'm looking for how my body releases, settles, and organizes into a central stable posture. So as you move, your awareness needs to be talking to your body, telling it to do something, and listening for the response. So as I move, I'm telling my body to change. First my leg, then the hip, then the abdomen, then the chest, then the shoulders. And I'm receiving the information from my body as what that feels like, being pressed into that condition. I want a smooth, steady change, uninterrupted, right the way through. I want to make sure that as I release, I'm not half released here. I'm not fully turned and there's more to release. I'm not halfway turned. Smooth and steady the whole time. The external movement is smooth. The internal changes are smooth. I'm not drawing the arms in. I'm not pulling the arms in. I'm changing the shoulders, then the elbow, then the wrist. Every time the hand moves, the shoulder's got to be moving. If the shoulder stops moving, the hand must stop moving. If the shoulder continues to change, continues to change, continues to drop, then the hand continues. final result of the movement must be that I find stability in an upright, pressed onto the ground condition, where it feels like there's nothing more I can let go of. I feel very relaxed, very fluid, very buoyant, very pressed onto the ground. I scan through my body, there's no tension that I can perceive. I've released, I'm upright and loose. The release enables the movement to take place. For a beginner, the movement takes place and we try and find the release. The movement is more important for a beginner to grapple with or to find accuracy with. So we talk about movement of the hips, turn to the corner, turn to the direction, bring the body over the foot. We talk about accuracy, we talk about where the hands are. As you become more intermediate, the releasing allows the movement to take place. When you unlock the body, when you unlock the muscles, the body wants to move. The body is falling towards this foot. If I don't change the muscles, it stays where it is. There's no movement. As soon as I soften the muscles, there's the movement. So as long as I continue changing the muscles, the movement continues. We want to try and bring this understanding into every single movement of the form. Upright, released on the inside. Look for the stability that arises. Upright, released on the inside. Look for the stability that arises. This is going to be the main focus for the 6-week block, to ensure that in every move that we do, we're not blurring the edges and just externally moving. We're not overlapping ideas. We're doing one clear thing. Upright, release, pressed onto the ground. Finishing the move externally at the same time as finishing internally. If you're not fully over the foot, notice it, draw your body further over. If you're not fully turned to the corner, notice it, release and turn fully to the corner. If you're not fully sunk and you notice your legs holding you up, release. These are the things we want to try and catch in our practice, these in our body, in our movement, and we want to try and understand what we're doing and how we can become aware of those things and change what we do. So we're not just going through the loosening exercises in a way that's very relaxed and soft, but we're actually really aware. With every change we make, we're aware of the corresponding movement. With every release we make, we're aware of the corresponding settling. Upright frame, release on the inside, connect and settle. I'm just going to bring us in. I'm going to unmute us a second. Just wanted to ask if that sounds like a good plan for 6 weeks to train in that way. I can't hear everybody.
Yeah, I think so.
Unmute all, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good to me, Luke. Definitely.
Sounds like a good thing.
Because you know what I know from my own practice is that sometimes it's just easy for those things to get blurred, so that the Tai Chi is described as a series of pearls, a necklace where each posture is completely complete and starts exactly the moment the other one finishes, and the mind runs through. It's the mind that connects through, the intention that runs through, that holds those pearls together. And what we don't want is, we don't want the body half sunk in one part of the body, not in another part of the body. We want everything to kind of be as perfect as we can in terms of each posture is as accurate as we can get it. Fully released, fully upright, fully sunk, fully connected. And this starts to push us to look at ourselves in a different way that makes us much more, our movements much more responsive to how we're changing. Right? So we're not just going through the form, we're not just doing what we normally do, we're really making sure that every single move we do, we're not breaking our upright posture, we're not partially changing, and we're not partially grounded. Those are the things we're looking for.
Right.
Be the same in each of the exercises, in each of the postures. Okay. So even though we don't go through the whole of the form tonight, you can bring that understanding, start to bring that understanding into your own practice when you do the form. Every time you come into the centrally stable posture, upright, fully released, fully settled, find that quality before you move on. And then when we start to develop that more, we can look at how the forces play through the body more. Right? If the muscles are holding us off the ground, if things are locked inside the body, we haven't got a huge chance of finding the type of forces we're looking for, because the forces are very fluid. Right? If the body's out of alignment, it will be tight somewhere. We need to make sure the body's upright so that it can be fully released, so that we can find the fluidity of the changes on the inside. Okay, good. Let's go through the other loosening exercises. I'm not going to go through them in as much detail. We'll go through the other loosening exercises, then we'll start with some form movements. Okay. Upright, release. Remaining upright is easier in this exercise because there's no movement of the center to the side. So try and feel how when you change your base, it allows your center to drop into your legs. Your legs feel like a bridge that your center can sit onto. Try and feel how when the lower back softens, how the rest of the body can draw in. What does that mean? It's like there's a river going through the body. As soon as the lower back opens, that gives you the rotation of the hips. The rest of the back melting. If the legs don't change, we're holding the body up. As soon as the legs change, the body can ooze in. When the pelvis rotates, that movement creates space in which the upper body and shoulder blades can flow into. We want to start feeling how when one part of the body changes, the rest of the body flows in. It's like water in a hose pipe. When the water flows through the hose pipe, the water behind it has got somewhere to go. So when the leg changes, it creates space for the rest of the body and gravity to press me in. Then space happens here, and this part of the body can flow in as well. And that all becomes one flowing through the hose pipe. It's not that this happens, then this happens, then this happens, and there's a gap between them. Everything flows together. That's where we're aiming for, so that the body is synchronized. When one part of the body changes, the whole body changes as a result. That's the synchronization between the whole body. It's not that you change the legs weight, change the lower back weight, change the shoulder girdle weight. Okay, as a beginner, we can divide it up into sections. Make sure the base is changing. Make sure the lower back is opening. Make sure the upper body is softening. As we get more connection and feel our bodies changing more, we can make these things happen more. You can start to feel how the upper body responds. When there's space, when there's a change in the lower back, when the pelvis rotates, how the upper body flows in. We want to start to look for these relationships, if you like. The legs melt. You start to feel connected. The lower back softens. The chest and shoulders start to drop. The thing is, if I just do that change, you don't see a huge amount of movement, but it feels a lot on the inside. And those are the movements we want to try and find. And if your body's locked or held, you won't find them. And you may say, oh, I can't feel my legs changing, I can't feel my lower back changing, I can't feel my chest changing. You have to visualize your body melting. Jin talks about butter in the microwave from the inside. I like the idea of melting in terms of the body's like a hollow tube and water droplets are just dropping down through it. And this idea of dropping your mind downwards, dropping your mind inwards, feeling on the inside, helps you change. Also like the idea of an egg timer, because the base changes, allows the sand to run through, and the sand in the upper part of the egg timer runs through into the legs, and the sand in the upper body runs in as well. And they're both happening together. So I'm only talking about the releasing downwards today. We'll work on this and get this nice and thorough, and then I want to talk about what happens on the way up. But for now, on the way down. Number 3. Release. Open the lower back, soften the chest, drop the shoulder. Release. First the leg, then the lower back, then the chest, then the shoulder. So don't just move the body, change the body on the inside. Change the lower back, change the shoulder, the arm moves. Don't just turn, release. Stable. Open the lower back, open the chest, drop the shoulder, the arm goes out. And those changes of sinking and connecting take place the whole time we're turning and moving. And remember, in this one, we're not moving across onto the leg, we're staying in the center. So the turning is around the center line, but there's no lateral movement across. The movement is straight to the foot. We're turning. And the release is in both legs. Doesn't mean that we're getting grounded in both legs. We're only getting really grounded in one leg, but this leg isn't pushing, both legs are releasing. Both legs are releasing. The hips are rotating. The chest is softening. Shoulders dropping, the arms going out. Upright, released, allows the movement to take place, settling the whole time. Connected. So the three principles taking place in this exercise: upright, release on the inside, and the result of releasing on the inside is we feel grounded. Gravity's pressing us in. The whole time we move, gravity's pressing us in, and I'm released. Very fluid and very relaxed. Not moving across without changing. Not changing and collapsing. Staying upright. Releasing on the inside. Feeling the result of those changes. Looking more for the change on the inside than the external movement. The fourth exercise. Upright, change on the inside. Gravity presses me in, shoulders release, arms change. It's very easy with this one just to bring the arms into position, just to do it all with the arms and the hands. What we want to make sure is that the hand doesn't move unless the body's changing. Okay? There's a principle in Tai Chi that when one part moves, every part moves. There's no independent movement of the arms. The shoulder has to be changing, which doesn't mean it's moving through space. It means it's releasing. It's sinking. That's when the hand sinks. So here, the base changes, the lower back opens, the chest relaxes, the shoulders drop. That's the timing for the hands to move. If the shoulder drops and stops, the hand should stop. If the shoulder drops for a long period, if the shoulder rotates for a long period and drops in, that's the timing for the hands to change. So to really analyze this exercise is to make the body synchronized. So when one part of the body changes, it gives space for the next part to change, which gives space for the next part to change, which gives space for the next part to change. So when I say we want to move like a worm, it's not far off the truth. One section of a worm moves and all the other sections follow. Not just the arms. What makes the arms move? What makes the arms move is that the shoulder girdle rotates and drops. What allows the shoulder girdle to rotate? Softening through the torso and the dropping of the shoulder blades. What allows that movement to take place? the settling of the hips into the legs. What allows that movement to take place is the change in the base. Can you see how all these things are fundamentally connected, just like water going through a hose pipe? Never just one part of the body moving in isolation. The base changes, the hips and lower back change, the shoulder blades change, the shoulders drop, the arms move. Now, if we want to put that into the form, then it's exactly the same, but the postures are going to be different. It's just a different posture. So for example, when we go from shoulder stroke here, hand lifts the same. The base changes. I'm on one leg, but it's the same principle. The base changes, the leg changes, the lower back changes, creates a space for the torso to drop in. The shoulder drops and the hand drops into place. So this hand doesn't just move into the right position. It's all fundamental from the ground upwards, dropping off and settling. Let's go from, in the form from single whip. Shoulder stroke. Moving on to the right foot, turning to the corner, turn back, wipe down the outside of the right arm. I'll do it from a different direction in a minute. Here, sinking. If I do it from this direction, you'll see more. Maybe have a look first. Stable. Stable because the legs change. Upright, released. Drawing the toes, pushing the heel, lifting hands. Step to the corner, shoulder stroke. As the body's sinking and changing, chest sinks and changes, shoulder drops, arm goes into position. Same principles, the same principles in the movement. It's not move in, put the hands in position. It's not put the hands in position. As the body changes, it allows the moves to take place so that at the end of the move, they're in position. The pearl finishes before the next one. As I'm melting the base, the lower back's releasing, the chest softening, the shoulder drops, I'm in position. I'm ready for the rebounding force to come through. Move on to the front foot and turn. This arm wipes down the outside of the arm, and this arm pulls through. So it's like this. If this was a sword, I'd be pulling it out of the scabbard. This one wipes down the outside at the same time. Opening up. Body's turning, all on one leg. Sink, stable, posture. One span from the thumb to the brow. Thumb of the right, thumb of the left, one span from the body. This is the same as the standing posture. No weight in the ball of the left foot. One span here. Single whip. To become stable, don't move over the foot. That would be like doing this and moving over the foot. Don't move over the foot, change the leg. So before I even move, before I move forwards, to allow me to move, I change the quality of the front leg. That immediately gives me more grounding, more stability. So as I'm moving on to the leg, I'm becoming more and more stable. I'm not moving forwards, I'm releasing. So before I even move, I release the leg. That gives me grounding. And then I can move on to it. With that grounding, I can turn. Drop the hands. Turn open. Turn back. Step to the corner. Find the centrally stable posture. Relax the upper body. Drop into the connection. Move forwards, but don't just move in. Release the front leg. Open the lower back. Becoming stable on the front allows me to put more and more weight onto the front leg. Now I'm stable and upright. Turn. Draw the left arm down as you turn. Draw the right arm up. Draw the toes in and release. I'm going to unmute us and see if there's any questions with any of those moves. If anyone's got anything in those moves that you want me to clarify or you're not sure of?
So in that, Luke, there, it's like there's no that transition between shoulder stroke and sorry, this one I can't remember it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. There's no wrong word, perhaps, but there's no coming up.
Shoulder stroke here. There's only as much coming up as there is in these exercises.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, there's a small amount of coming up, but it's not it's not this.
Yeah. Okay. That's disconnected, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, the coming up is a rebound, right? So the coming up, I don't want to talk too much about coming up, but I will answer your question.
Well, don't worry about it now.
No, that's fine. It's a good question.
We'll do it next time.
Well, look, see, these are my TV controls. Right? I need a longer book, really. This one is going to move that one.
Yes.
Can you see?
Yes.
Right? That one gets its energy from this one, which gets its energy to move from this one.
Yes.
And if it was upright, it moves up.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
then you have to have that connection. So when you rebound, the foot and the knee is the connection that's going to move the hip.
Yeah.
The hip is, so I've got to be sinking onto it to feel it move through me.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
I'm moving away from it, right?
Yeah.
If that TV controller is moving of its own accord away, it's not going to feel the force that's coming from the other one.
I see.
That one needs to stay in connection with this one to feel the force go through it. So the force that's in my leg isn't a force that lifts me. It's a force that goes through me. And the only way it's going to go through me is by continually releasing onto it.
Okay.
While the movement takes place. So I'm still sinking onto that. So it's like each part of my body that connects moves the next part.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a...
That's really interesting. Thank you.
It's an answer for you, Pete, because I know what you're training and I know where you are with your training. So it might be right for other people, it might not. But don't try and use force to lift yourself.
No.
It's your normal jumping force.
No.
You have to still be allowing your body to fall and feel like it's falling and feel like gravity's acting on you and that you're really loose while that lifting force runs through you. And you feel your foot stay connected to the ground, you feel your knees stay connected, you feel your foot and your knee push your hip, you feel your foot, knee and hip push your chest, you feel your foot, knee and chest push your shoulders.
Yes.
Right?
Great. Great. Thank you.
If you're lifting off the foot, you don't feel that at all. You have to be connecting on to feel it go through you.
Yes.
So you're still sinking while the rebounding force happens.
Great. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very
that's
much.
as much as I'm talking about.
That's great. No, that's great. Thank you. Sorry, everyone. Thank you very much.
Do the hands, Luke, do they have an outward intention? I remember that vaguely.
This is a circle. This palm's away from you, but this circle around the arms is around the body. Does it have an outward?
I just remember those words. I think.
Only as much as you could think of this as someone's attacking and this is a deflecting, which is a lifting. But to be honest, I wouldn't worry too much about it being an outward feeling at all. I'd just stay with the body being connected. And it's just going into a different posture, but the shoulder's still sinking.
I think the idea of holding a ball puts you into the right position anyway.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
The thing about a ball is that all the parts of the circle are connected, and they're all connected around a hub. And that is the kind of way you rest in it. And if you can rest with what's happening here, then everything else just kind of like that starfish thing where you're not focusing on all the little details at the outside, you're focusing on the center of it, and you can work the details from the center. But if you think about it being an outward thing, you'll go straight to what the hands are doing. Right? So I try and draw us more towards what's happening more from an internal aspect rather than external. But yes, it has got an outward feel as well. Right? If you were looking at just the outside shape of the form, if I was teaching beginners, I'd definitely say it's an outward thing. But yeah, that goes on as well as the inside stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go through from the beginning of the form to there. Mute all. Continue. We've got about, we got 10 minutes easily. As you're standing in attention posture, lift your chest, open up this distance between the dantian and the sternum. Deliberately lift. Deliberately lift the crown of the head long in the back of the neck. Drop the chin so the head can rotate. Once you've got the body in an upright position, you're just going to now soften on the inside. As the lower back softens and melts into the changing legs, so the chest softens and you get that synchronization of melting through the whole body, and the body feels grounded and stable. The weight of the body is keeping you pressed into itself. Just coming to a place where you're resting with the body sensations. Both knees bend. Weight 100% to the right foot. Rather than just moving across, remember you're changing your left leg. You're opening your lower back. You're softening your chest, and you're allowing these internal changes to take place while you're moving. Again, the base. As soon as the leg's empty, it gives space for the lower back to take place. It gives space for the shoulder blades to drop, then the shoulders, then the arms. Continue that process on the inside until the hands completely finish. Turn. Sit back. Not just a movement sitting back, it's a release through the leg. It's a release of the lower back. It's a release of the chest. And now the body's connected, so it stays connected in the center. Release and through. Don't just move onto the foot. Don't just look for stability. Soften and change. You have to change to find stability. If you're aligned and you've changed, you'll be pressed straight onto the ground and stable. If you're out of alignment and you change, you'll have to tighten to keep your stability. So you need to be upright, aligned, organized, release, and your body's pressed straight onto the right leg. Turn. Here, don't move over your left foot. Release. As soon as you release, the lower back opens. You get a degree of grounding. Sink onto that. Keep the grounding taking place. So when you turn, you don't have to try and find your stability. You've already got your stability. Turn around it and step. When you move on to the front leg, change the front leg, open the lower back, soften the chest. When you sit back, don't just move back. Release the back leg. As soon as you release the back leg, it's like you unhinge the lower back. Unhinge the chest, drop the shoulders, sit back. Body's connected, so when you turn, whole body moves. Into the center. Sink onto the front leg. Don't move forwards. Don't move forwards. Sink and release. Press. Don't move backwards. Release back. Open the lower back. Drop the shoulders. Sit back. Create the space by your changes on the inside. Relax the muscles. Let the body ooze in. Single whip. Don't move forwards. Just change the front leg, open the lower back. It's like you're unhooking the lower back so it can change. Muscles in the front leg changing, give you grounding instantly. Unhook the lower back, soften the chest. Got the grounding, got the body settled onto the front leg, turn around that. Sink. Unhook the lower back. Chest, shoulders, drop into the posture. One span from the right thumb to the brow. Left thumb on the thigh. Span between the body. One span here. Hands forward of the face. It's not in line with the head, it's slightly forwards. No weight in the ball of the left foot, just the ball of the left foot on the ground. If you swing the foot through, it just misses the right. If you hold that posture, I just want to have a look at your posture. Just hold that posture. So Christine, a little bit rounder in the arm, so that you don't see the you don't see such an angle on the elbow. It's more round. Imagine that ball, and the arm's rounder. So this is more round rather than this. You don't see a crease in the arm here. It's more open. Yeah, it's better. Yeah. Yeah, if you can face the camera with your postures, I can have a little look. Yeah. So Kath, again, not so bent in the arm, a nice fuller and rounder posture. Measure your hand to your brow, and then put the arm in place so it's not small, it's nice and open and round. Yeah, good. The thumb of the left on the thigh. I can't see everybody's hands here. This is one span to the body. No weight in the ball of the foot. Great. I'll just go on to unmute. Okay. Are you okay with that posture?
Yeah,
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
I think so.
Excellent. Good. We've just got a few minutes left before the end of the class. So rather than doing it again, I just wanted to hand over to you really, and say, just ask how your practice been over the summer. If there's anything in particular you want to work with over the next 6 weeks, those sorts of, kind of Tai Chi stuff,
I mean, my training's been along those lines, really. Not moving backwards, but releasing backwards and feeling the impact and change in all of the body, almost like the spine being pulled, like the center of a cord. Coming. I'm not describing it as eloquently as you do, Luke, but this kind of thing where it's almost like that's pulled along that same line, but it's created by the release, the mind sending the intention to change. So that's what I've been trying to, particularly sitting back, I've been looking at, because it's easy to just like move, suddenly you're in a thing, and it's how did I get here, so it's
Yeah, exactly.
more conscious about how does it go from there to there. Right, well, it's not so much the end movements, it's the transitions that are really interesting.
It's the transitions. And as you get more refined in your Tai Chi, the transitions get really interesting. And we've kind of talked about things like pre-movements before, how something has to happen internally before the external movements take place. It's like the movements of a car, all the things have to happen inside a car, and the clutch plate has to come into contact, the foot has to come off the brake. You don't see any of those things, you just see the car move. But there's a whole load of things that have to happen to engage, get the car connected and engage the gears, engage the movement and the engine, and off you go. It's the same with our bodies. It's very easy to just end up moving. And we want to try and ask ourselves that question, how did I get here? Yeah. How did I get from one movement into the next movement? What did I do automatically that I wasn't aware of? And what did I bring into awareness as I moved?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, good. So is this what's the question? Yeah, I want it to be challenging too. I don't want it to be easy. I want it to be challenging in a way that's good. That's a bit exciting and difficult at the same time. I don't just want it to be difficult, and I don't just want it to be exciting. There's that balance in Tai Chi of kind of like, well, why the hell can't I do that? And I'm finding that, and that's really exciting. So there's that kind of like, you get stimulated by it, but stimulated to really go into it rather than just kind of do it. Because Tai Chi just done and just gone through the motions is kind of one of the most boring things in the world. Because there's no purpose to it. It's just a series of movements that have got no no function, no kind of reason to be in that order. Whereas when we see why we're doing these movements to what we're trying to extract of what we understand about ourselves from the movements, it gets really interesting. So that's the kind of approach really that gives us kind of a lot back from our Tai Chi.
Good, thank you.
Good. So your homework, okay, your homework, try and look at those 3 principles of being upright, being released, and the consequence of feeling grounded. Try and do that in every move. Make sure you're upright, make sure you're releasing, grounding, and then move in every move of the form. And what I asked the beginners in this group for this 6 weeks, I know it's not easy to practice every day, but I'm asking everyone to practice something, even if it's for a few minutes or even if it's 1 minute, just every day, to try and reconnect with the principles of what we're trying to do. And if you feel like 10, 20, 30 minutes is too much to commit to, that's okay. Just make it 1 minute. Just 1 minute of remembering what that sensation's like in your body gives your practice continuity. And I really want to try and, I know some people have their own practice going and manage to do it on a daily basis, and some people don't. And I don't need to know if you do or if you don't. I just want to try and encourage us to try and, over the 6-week block, to make sure that practice just starts to get a little bit more definitely into our lives. Right? 1 minute, you'll be 1 minute is much, much better than no minutes in a day.
Yes.
Right? 1 minute is way better because you're thinking about it, you're doing it. And even if you feel, oh, I feel crap, I can't do anything, at least you're doing it. Right? And it can be standing in a queue outside a shop that you're going up and you're releasing and you're feeling the stability. You don't have to do your arms because they'll lock you away if they see you doing all that stuff. Just the internal. No one can see the internal taking place. Just the internal. Keep it happening in your practice. Keep it in your awareness, and soon enough it'll start to be, oh, this is really interesting what I'm doing, and the familiarity of it starts to, like dyeing a cloth, again and again and again, starts to happen.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you've got any thoughts or questions, or I'm not covering anything in the class, or there's something that's just you need to ask me about, just send me an email in the week. And what I'm going to do is I'll send you the recording. I'll try and record this tomorrow and send it out to you tomorrow. So if you want to go over any of what we've done today, you can during the week. And we'll see you next Wednesday. I'm hoping, for the local people, I'm hoping Ashburton's going to go back in October. And Southern Hay and Exeter, they haven't told me yet. They're more than useless.
Okay.
But Ashburton should be October, and I'll just keep you posted as to what I find out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Good.
Thank you very much.
Keep well.
And you.
Next week.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.